and welcome to the first 2015 episode of Viewpoint with Maddison and Francesca.
We've got loads of big events to show you. Big Weekend, NapNook, Feast on the Street, and a special political discussion panel with Norwich candidate Clive Lewis. It's almost time for the general election, and for many of us it's our first chance to vote in one. We'll be here over the next few months to give you all the information that you need to make an informed decision when May arrives.
The first step towards voting is registering. It has arguably never been easier, with registering online only taking a few minutes. The Student Union has been promoting registration for the past few weeks. In a rather unusual popular move, the union ran a Goats for Votes event on February the 5th, where students were encouraged to get a goat in exchange for registering to vote. Take a look.
So it's National Voter Registration Day today, and as part of that we have decided to go and think about a bit outside the box. We've brought a herd of goats to campus to encourage students to register to vote, to get them talking and interested in the general election.
Now we're joined with our regular chat with Concrete. We have Peter and Joe. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having us again.
Hello. So what is going on in the world of UEA at the moment? What's the biggest news you think?
Well, the biggest news, of course, is Radio 1's Big Weekend, which is coming to Norwich on the 23rd and 24th of May.
Yeah, 23rd, 24th of May.
And of course the first act to be announced is Taylor Swift, which we're all incredibly excited about. As you can probably tell from our front page that we slightly lost our cool when we heard that.
Yes.
Not that we listened to her in the office on
At
repeat.
all.
At all, ever.
So how was announcement day? What was happening?
Announcement day was exhausting because I was told that I had to be in the office for 7:30.
In the morning?
In the morning, to expect something big. And then I was going all the way through until about 8 o'clock at night. So yeah, I needed to lie down and a gin after that. But it was good fun, and it really, really exciting that something this big is coming to Norwich.
Yes, especially as it's just down the road from UEA.
So close.
Very close indeed. It's probably going to be the best thing that's going to happen in the summer this year for UEA, I think.
Well, that apart from unless we have the second coming or something.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. So other news that this week has been for UEA is the NapNook. So have you got anything to say about the NapNook?
Well, it's managed to gain quite a lot of popularity in the mainstream media. We're the first British university to do anything like this, and I think it's a really great opportunity just to look after the student welfare a bit more, even for the little things of just providing an area to sleep in.
Yeah.
And a good opportunity to sleep and be lazy in the middle of the day.
Which we all need.
Which we all need from time to time.
How long do you get in the NapNook?
It's regulated at 40 minutes per person. Apparently, some science says that this is the optimum time for a rest in order to maintain good concentration.
Yeah.
I think you should get a personal wake-up call from a union officer.
Yes, you should
I
book
think
it.
I think if you've been in there long enough, you probably do.
You get Chris Jarvis come around and say, right, get out, guys, and do some work.
Have you been in the NapNook yet?
Not yet, no.
No.
I'd probably just get a beanbag in the media office and pass out there.
Someone told me you get eye masks as well.
Do you? Was it like flying Virgin Atlantic?
Yes. Yeah, I think it must be like that.
Just in Norwich.
It's exactly like that. It's just as classy.
So, looking forward to the next issue of Concrete, have you got anything coming up that you'd like to talk about?
Well, we've tried to give it a little bit of a Valentine's Day flavour because we come out on the 11th of February, so only a few days before. So we did, perhaps against our better judgment, a little review of Tinder.
Okay.
And we just sat in the office, possibly with a glass of wine, flicking through and having a jolly good look at some of the people on there. And we tried to make it a little bit serious about like different sorts of people that you might find on there and different patterns of profiles and the sorts of things that people say. But something light-hearted we thought that we could do that would be sort of seasonally appropriate.
Yes, very modern.
Modern romance.
This
is what Valentine's
Never
Day
let it
is
be
all
said
about.
that concrete is not at the forefront of
we have,
the technological revolution.
Yeah, we have Taylor Swift and Tinder.
Exactly.
What more could you possibly want?
Oh, well, thank you for coming in, guys. It's great
Thank
chatting.
you very much for having us.
It's now time to switch over to Glenn Wheeler in order to catch up with all things sporty at UEA.
Now, I've been joined by David Hall. Hi, David. Thanks for coming in. First of all, you're part of Archery. What's your position as part of the club?
I'm the Archery League Secretary, so I'm responsible for the scoring and all sort of inter-club competitions we do, and also club competition entries for things like Bucks and the South East Archery League, which we're involved in, and of course, the British University Team Championships, which we're hosting in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that is the reason we brought you into Sports Corner today. Can you just go into more detail about this big event?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive archery event. It's, I think, the second biggest after Bucks itself. We're going to have anything up to about 100 archers coming down for the day. It's an all-day competition. It's massive. It's really fun. We travelled to Southampton to be part of it last year. It's a really good fun event. It's sort of a two-part event. You have a qualifying round in the morning, which is then scored. The team scores go towards your ranking, and then in the afternoon we have an elimination knockout round, which is on tiny little hit and miss targets. It's literally a tiny little disc that we have to hit at sort of 18 metres.
How good are you at that?
Personally, I'm not brilliant. Some of the members of our club are pretty good at it.
That sounds like a tough ask.
Yeah, it's
a tough ask.
It's about when you look. Most of us are sighted. We've got a little sight on our bow.
Yeah.
When you actually look through it, the sight is about as big as what you can see. So you're hitting what looks like an absolutely teeny target from what you can see. So it's quite a challenge.
Yeah, that takes skill.
Especially under pressure, because it's literally a knockout round. So there'll be one team against another team, and it's literally whoever scores the most hits goes through, and the other team is out. So there's a lot of pressure on that.
So how many universities are taking part in the event?
At the minute, we've got about 18 universities. Entries close at the end of today, so I believe Essex are putting in a late entry.
We'll get to them later.
So we could have up to 20, but it's going to be up to about 100 archers, plus there'll be judges, there'll be supporters, and our own volunteers as well from the club. So there's going to be a lot of people around the sports park that day for a massive event.
And how are UEA going to do?
I think we're going to do better than last year. Last year I think we came 23rd out of 32 teams, so we're definitely hoping for a significant improvement this year. We've been practicing on the hit misses for one thing, so we didn't know that was coming up last year. So we're definitely going to be in a better shape.
Improvement's good though. Improvement's good. Well, thanks for coming, David. Thanks for joining us, and good luck for everything that's coming up in the future.
Thank you very much. Hopefully there'll be some positive interviews after all the events to say UEA have done really well.
I'm sure there will be. Cheers.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Now that's all from this edition of the Sports Corner here on Viewpoint. I shall be back soon though to preview Derby Day, which takes place on the 14th of March. But until next time, be sure to tune in to the Sports Show on Livewire 1350 every Wednesday evening between 5 and 6, and follow us on Twitter at UEATV Sport.
Thanks, Glenn. Now we are delighted to introduce a new segment to Viewpoint, Meet the Candidates. Each episode we are inviting a candidate from Norwich to meet with our panel of students and discuss the main issues of the day. One of the main issues in the general election this year is the NHS. Every age has an opinion. It's for everyone as well. So if Labour were to get in, what changes would be made to the NHS?
Well, how long have you got? First of all, we're going to scrap the 2012 Health and Social Care Act. We will stop the privatisation and the disintegration of the NHS. That's the first thing. Secondly, we will use a mansion tax, as well as clamping down on homes worth more than £2 million, as well as clamping down on tax evasion and avoidance, and implementing an increase in tax on tobacco companies to raise £2.5 billion a year to invest into the NHS to provide 20,000 nurses, 8,000 doctors, 5,000 home care workers and 3,000 midwives. We've also got the 10-year plan where we'll be implementing a real, for the first time I think in 30 years, public health policy, and integrated with our approach to mental health, which will also have proper funding, unlike it has under this coalition government, where we will have an integrated healthcare system fit for the 21st century. Labour introduced the National Health Service in this country. Labour will protect it, and Labour will ensure that it is fit for the 21st century, public, free at the point of entry, and something we can all continue to be proud of. And that's, I think, a very strong point for the Labour Party come the next election.
It's all very well saying that. Under the last Labour government, you began the privatisation of the NHS after pledging not to, like you introduced.
No, we didn't. That was done under the Tories, but... I mean, you could, if you want to keep looking back at the past, the reality is I think people are looking at what the Labour Party are saying now. And, you know, look, I'm not going to sit here and say...
But you just tried to defend yourself based on your reputation for introducing the NHS. You can't criticise me.
Well, it's a fact, isn't it?
It's also a fact.
It's a fact that the NHS was created by the NHS. But I'm also proud of what the Labour Party is planning to do with the NHS in the future. And this is the thing that I would say to you is, as a fellow progressive, I understand there is a tribalism because I'm in the Labour Party, you're in the Green Party, but as progressives, surely you can sit there and say, you know what, I'm really pleased that if Labour get in, they will look after and protect the NHS. That doesn't make it. That shouldn't be a tribal issue. That should be something we can all agree that a public healthcare system, well funded, is.
Additionally, when asked,
sure, we can all agree on that.
Double-pronged attack right now.
No,
Sorry, am I allowed to speak?
I just wanted to add a comment that when asked your party leader Natalie Bennett what the last Labour government did well, she actually said the last Labour government record on the NHS was pretty good.
Well, we're not a centralised political party, so we have a variety of views within the party.
Just a comment.
I would be very, very pleased if I had assurances that that's what the Labour Party would do, but based on your track record, I'm not sure I believe it.
I'd just like to talk about this supposed privatisation of the NHS. I believe in 2010, when we came into government, approximately 4% of it was in private hands. The figure is now 6%, I believe. So why is it that
75% of the new contracts? Now you understand. Just for those that don't understand, there's an organisation called Monitor within the NHS, which has basically been through the legislation primed to, I won't say force, but to encourage CCGs to commission more of those contracts with private contractors. I think there's a kind of minimum. Now, those 75% of those contracts in the last year, it's speeding up, were with the private sector. I think most people that you speak to, I speak to on the doorstep, understand you cannot trust the Tories with the NHS, simply put.
Now, I can't go into a lot of detail about it, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know the figures off the top of my head. I don't want to discuss them without knowing that. But I would say, to me, it makes no difference if a contract is done by a private contractor or by a government contractor. What matters is the quality of care at the end of it.
It does make a massive difference, though, because what you're doing, you're breaking up the NHS. When the cancer care unit, oncology unit at the Norfolk and Norwich Hospital is, let's say, hypothetically sold off to a private contractor, that experience, those staff, that ability to do that has gone. So one of the reasons the NHS is one of the most cost-effective in the world compared to, say, for example, the American system, which is one of the most expensive, is because of that integrated ability to keep costs down, those economies of scale. And the other thing as well, when you contract out to the private sector, one of the reasons you're able to kind of come in on a lower price than the state is because you pay people in the private sector, pay their staff less pension rights, less pay, worse terms and conditions. You get more out of those people. You're working them into the ground. So that's one of the reasons you're able to do that. Having a public NHS isn't only morally right, it's economically sensible, and the figures and statistics show that. Disintegrating healthcare systems, fragmented, like they have in America, like they have in some European countries, are not the most efficient and effective way of providing healthcare in this country. You should accept that, and I think if there's one thing the Tories should learn from this lesson is keep your hands off the NHS, because it will lose you this election.
Can I just say as well, Lib Dem haven't had any input so far, so can we have Lib Dem?
I just kind of wanted to say, actually, on the health service, you kind of see what's going on in the media here, where sort of the Tories and Labour are just throwing mudslinging over the NHS. And for Clive to say that for Clive to imply at least that Labour are the only party that want to see an increase in health spending is just not right.
I didn't say that.
Well, no, but you've implied that Labour is the party of the NHS, and that's simply not true.
All of our longer interviews can be found on the UEA TV website.
On a less political note, the Forum has once again been the home to Feast in the Street, a wonderful multicultural celebration of food. Sophie went along to find out more.
I'm Sophie Capianis here for UEA TV outside the Forum in Norwich for Feast on the Street, where independent food sellers have gathered here to offer the locals something different.
Apart from using local ingredients like a lot of people do, we cook on charcoal and we use wood and stuff like that, natural cooking techniques. It's slower cooking, but it imparts better flavour. You get a nice caramelisation on the meat.
That's all the time we have left for this episode, but here's a preview of what we'll be covering next time.
Hello, well, I'm Kate from Cateroo, and I just want to tell you a quick bit about our Cateroo Kids launch party next Saturday. So it's next Saturday, Valentine's Day. It's 2 till 3:30, at City Academy Norwich, which is just next door to UEA, in between UEA and Tesco's. It's going to be amazing. It's the first Cateroo Kids event, so hopefully see you there.
It's been fantastic having Clive Lewis on the show, as well as Peter and Joe from Concrete. For more information about voting registration, use this link below.
Have a great month and tune in again soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.